Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at this, the Revell 1/72nd scale German A4/V2 rocket. So join me as I take a look inside the box and see what this one is like. So on the front you can see we're in the more modern black boxing, and we've got this, I think this is a beautiful image actually of the rocket taking off, being launched with some pretty amazing smoke effects around the outside. Over here on the left hand side, 1/72 scale, there are 46 parts included, and this has a length, or potentially height, of 21.5 centimeters. On the bottom left, we have an item code of 03309. Onto the long thin edge, we've got the same kind of information that we normally see. This one does say it was made in the Czech Republic, and we have a copyright date of 2018. But as always with Revell kits, they haven't given us a tooling date. This is a copyright date, so take that with a pinch of salt because it could be something completely different. It says that it's a level 4 kit, but I'm not really sure how Revell are doing their skill levels at the moment because they seem to be all over the shop. On the other long edge, we have some information in different languages about the actual V2 rocket. The thin edges feature the same information that we've already seen. The rear of the box features an image of the V2 as it's been assembled from this plastic kit. I quite like it when companies do this because it gives you a bit of inspiration and something to potentially aspire to when you complete your build. We do have some recommended paint colors down here as well from the Revell range. Over on the right hand side we have a little bit more information about the kit in different languages, just indicating an age of 12 and older, and that this is non-assembled and glue and paints are not included. And as I mentioned a little while ago, I haven't actually opened this one, so looking inside this kit for the first time is going to be an absolute treat. Normally when I buy a model, I'm like straight in to look at it, like the second it's been bought. But this one, this is it. This is the first time I'm opening it. I'm doing a horrendous job of it. I think this was actually bought for me as a gift rather than as something that I bought myself, but I don't remember that. There we go, I'm in. So let's have a look. It has been sitting in my stash for a little while, so there we go. Box is about right. It's about the right size for it, isn't it? So can't really complain on that front. Let's put the decals over there. Instructions then. Instructions are in the new sort of format from Revell. We've got it printed in color. On the front, we've got the image of the assembled model kit. There's a safety warning sheet. We can get rid of that. We have some images. These are the generic ones, hints and tips on how to build your model, and then a key to the different symbols we may encounter during the build. It is all printed in color, which is nice. Revell's slightly annoying paint color system. Every paint they own or they suggest in their range has a paint number, 6585, so on. And then when you come to the instructions, instead of just using those numbers, they reassign them a letter. I understand why they do that. It's because they want to mix paints sometimes to get a particular shade. In this case, though, nothing's being mixed. You're just using straight up colors. So actually all you're doing is adding an extra step. We have a sprue map, as you can see here. So sprue A is indicated here and sprue B is indicated on the page over. And then we get into our assembly. So we start off by what looks like assembling elements of the rocket motor, installing that into the sort of two halves of the rocket. Then we add fins, and then we have what appears to be different options in the kit. We have, I believe this is like the launcher, and we have the ability to model it in a launch position or a stowed position. We have some support struts which need to be glued in with a ring as well. And we continue with this. There are paint color callouts as we go through, just indicating the various areas of the kit which need to be painted certain specific colors. There are quite a few small parts which need to be glued onto this sort of launching device or launching platform, and we do have some wheels for a trailer element, or something that could transport this rocket as it was being moved into position for launching, so it can be pushed underneath in there for being stowed, and I presume for being launched there would be another way of having it. I presume for launch they would remove that. But again, I think I'd have to do more research because I don't know a great deal about the V2. Anyway, so we flip over the page and you can see we've got 4 paint schemes. So the first one is, I think it's probably the more famous paint scheme, which is the prototype, which is black and white checker marks. I presume they did that so they could see it easily when it was traveling through the air. We have our particular launch trailers for our different versions highlighted down here. So for this version, it would have been yellow. The next one is a 1943 summer example. And you can see we've got a decal here for that one. There is a decal for this one, which is down there, which is a sort of little logo, or it almost looks like a cartoon. Our launcher for this one is a sort of olivey colour, and this has an interesting, it's almost like a splinter camo going on there. The next one is for 1944. We've got another decal here, which is sort of the serial number for it, and it's a little bit similar to this one, but the camouflage is a little bit different. We have our launch platform, which is in a dark green here, and then coming towards the end, I think they've given up on camouflaging it, probably to save money. So all we've got now is a band around the top, and it's painted all in green, and the launcher is painted in grey. And that's pretty much it. I'm not sure which version I would like to do. I wonder if this would be more visually interesting, but I guess we'll have to see when I get around to actually building it. And that's that. Instructions, yeah, pretty good. Decals then, we have a small sheet of decals. There's not a great deal. I mean, there wasn't that much from the instructions decal wise that was on there. But yeah, so there's that sort of little cartoon. It's like a rocket with someone sitting on the moon. So, you know, a bit of foreshadowing there. And then underneath that, we've got the different serial numbers for the different ones we also looked at. And then the 2 bands that go around the nose of the last one. These are printed in Italy, but I think they may be Revell's in-house decal production, because the Z off after the number code here indicates that they're not made by Cartograph. If they were made by Cartograph, it would be a C. But I think these decals are generally to a very nice quality. But yeah, we'll have to see how they go onto the model. And then we have our parts contained within a plastic bag. So we're going to open that up and get them out. And these are molded in a dark grey plastic, and we have both of our sprues. And if we look at this, we can see the plastic is quite hard, it's quite dense. It does have a slight texture to it. The mold quality is pretty decent. There is a little bit of flash in a few places. We do have a slight sink mark just on the insides here. They may not show up, but they are just, there's one here and there's one here, but hopefully when you build the model it's not too noticeable. Ejector pin marks, I think that's probably where they've come from. They've come from ejector pins. They are on the internal sides and not abundantly clear on any sort of visible surfaces. There is a small amount of flash in a few places, but not a great deal. We've got our rocket nozzles here. We have the wheels for our little trailer, which are, you know, they're pretty nice. There is a slight mold seam down the edge, but yeah, pretty decent. We have elements of our launcher, and they've got nice little details on them as well. And then if we come to the bottom, you can see that actually it has a little logo about who made this, made by MPM Production Limited, and we even have an address, a web address, CMK Kits. So this is indicating to me that this isn't actually a Revell model, it's a Revell Rebox. The next one then has the same at the bottom, same information that we've just seen, and yeah, it's okay. It's the same kind of level of detail. We've got some little rivets in places on the bottom down here. Molding is pretty good. I quite like the fins. The fins look really nice. They've got little rivet details and things on them. But as with the other sprue, there are some little bits of flash in a few little select places. But actually, this looks to be a really quite a nice model kit. I'm actually surprised by how fine some of these details are. Like there's these little proby bits down here, which have come out really nicely. But yeah, there are some little ejector pin marks on some surfaces, which I hope can't be seen, but I guess we will have to investigate when we come to the build. Looks very good, doesn't it? So yeah, let's wrap this one up. We had 2 dark grey plastic sprues of some really quite crisply moulded parts, but there are a few little sink marks and a little bit of flash in a few places, plus some ejector pin marks on the other side, which may need a little bit of work to conceal. We have a small sheet of decals which are printed to a nice quality, and I think they should apply to the model with no real issues. Our instructions are printed in full colour, and I really like that. The only thing that I think Revell could improve with their instructions is that annoying paint colour call-out system. Just tell us the paint number. And all of that comes contained within this box with, do you know what? I just love this artwork. That's such a good image. It's very sort of like energetic. There's a lot going on there. So with all that in mind, how much would you be looking at paying for this? Well, at the moment, as it stands on the Revell website, it's retailing for €18.98 in euros, which if we convert to GBP, that comes out at the time I'm making this as £15.75. So let's just round that up and call that £16. If I'm being a little bit honest, I think that's a little bit expensive for what we're getting inside the box. Yes, we're getting a good number of decal schemes, but actually we're only getting like 1 or 2 decal per scheme, and the sheet that we've had included is really small. We're only getting 46 parts over the 2 sprues, and I mean, it is just one kind of plastic. It's not like we've got different colored plastics or any clear parts for that matter. I mean, you wouldn't get clear parts because it's a missile, but yeah, I think that £16 here in the UK does seem a little bit steep for 2 sprues of plastic and a small sheet of decals. I am aware that this has been on sale in the UK for more than £16, even pushing up as high as 25. At that price, definitely not. I would be avoiding looking for it at that kind of price, because let's face it, I don't think 46 parts in a 172 scale kit with just 2 sprues of plastic is worth, you know, £25. That's quite excessive. £16 is a better price than 25, but it still seems quite high for what we're getting inside the box. I would say personally that this is probably worth around the £10 kind of mark, but I don't know as to the nuances and the ins and outs and of how this was produced and any licenses or agreements that Revell may have had to go into, especially given as we've discovered that this isn't actually their own tooling. So there may be a reason for why the price is a little bit higher than normal due to who it's come from, any licenses they may have had to pay, and royalties, etc. And with that in mind, I think it's probably worth remembering that we had a copyright date of 2018 on the box. So that's when this example was manufactured. I think it has been available as part of the Revell range for quite some time. I know, like, it's 2025 now and I can still buy this online if I want to, but from what I can tell, it's actually a 2013 tooling from a company called Special Armor. So I've never heard of Special Armor, but they must have something to do with this company here, CMK Kits, or perhaps MPM Production Limited. So I don't know a great deal about that. I don't know the nuances or the ins and outs. It's not a Revell tooling is all I know, and Revell have in some way or another managed to acquire this kit for their range, either as a purchase of the tooling or as a sort of lease. But yeah, if you wanted one of these, I would say, you know, go for it. It looks like a really nice kit, but do shop around, because I'm not sure it's quite worth what people are trying to ask for it. And on that bombshell, I think it's probably time to end this one here. Let me know in the comments what you think of this kit, and if you agree with my assessment of this model, and if that assessment was fair. As always, quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. A massive thanks to these guys on screen. And if you'd like to join them or support the channel in other ways, full information is below the video. The best way to support the channel for free though is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.